So in Hebrews 6, it's quite a terrifying picture. And he applies it to the person who is often reproved and simply becomes harder and harder. Ground that gets the rain and the seed, but instead of producing crop, harder and harder, more and more thorns, until finally, the only thing for the farmer to do is just burn it off. It's just start over in a sense. And, a terrifying picture of how a person can be hardened by God's reproofs to the point that, humanly speaking, it's like we're beyond hope.
It's kind of shocking to think that every reproof of God brings one of those results. Tempting to think that I'm really unaffected, but he makes the point that you're not unaffected. You are always affected, either going harder or softer. So the afflictive hand of the Almighty comes, and we're made better, we're made worse. We're not left unchanged, even if we don't feel the change.
Yeah. Well, let's hit those three words that he emphasizes in his sermon, that if we harden our hearts, there is an everlasting, sudden destruction without remedy. Everlasting, sudden, and without remedy. And we were talking about if you hear those words, if you hear destruction without remedy on earth, your business, your family, your marriage, your kids, your house, those are pretty terrifying words. But that does not compare to, instead of a human saying it to you, a banker, a doctor giving you bad news, but the Creator saying everlasting and sudden destruction has come on you without remedy. And he's talking about the millions of millions of millions of endless years in eternity. And there's no more remedy because we hardened our heart, and now it's late. He talks about how this sets us, in a sense, apart from God's miraculous intervention, it even puts us outside the hope of the gospel. Why would he say that?
If you're unwilling to hear warnings, then will you hear gospel warnings? Will you hear the gospel and repent?
Yeah, he talks about the fact that the only people that embrace the gospel are repenters who turn from and turn toward. But nobody repents who doesn't first feel something of the conviction of sin. So if your one problem is you can't feel because you've hardened yourself, then that one problem is enough really to damn a man. So apart from God's extraordinary intervention, we reach a place where even the gospel offers us no hope. We feel nothing. He gives some examples in the Bible. Pharaoh. Pharaoh wakes up one morning. He's the king of the most powerful earthly empire, especially in the region. And by the time he goes to bed that night, his firstborn son is dead, or, he wakes up, this child is dead. And within a 24-hour period, his armies are destroyed as they've chased the Israelites into the Red Sea. Sudden, everlasting, without remedy, his destruction. Thanks for watching the clip. We hope it was spiritually beneficial for you. We really do appreciate being able to interact with you through the comments. So if you have questions or just comments you'd like to leave them below, and we'll get back to them as we have a chance.